What is up, Yugi Tube? It's your boy, Meh, Pig and Meh. I don't really got a fancy intro for y'all. I just wanted to show off this awesome playmat my old lady made me. Well, on to the video. Alright folks, we're doing yet another deck profile. Now today's deck profile is something that's kinda gonna be a bit of a multi-part thing, because I decided to build something a little different than what I'd be aware of as the optimal build, because, well, bandless is around the corner, and with any potential hit, you gotta kind of be sure you have a strategy for what to do afterwards. And also, there's a lot of new cards in the meta, so I just kind of decided to build something that hits hard and ends games fast. And that's where we're coming at with the deck profile today. Crusadia. So it goes without saying that regardless of the build you're playing, you kind of max out on all of the Crusadia cards, because at most you always need between 2 to 3 of them to really combo off with anything. Now, if you're kind of unfamiliar with the cards and how they work, it's pretty simple. Maximus here, he allows your Crusadia Link guys to deal double damage, which just helps you essentially one-punch people for game. Arborea here, she's a tuner, and she can banish herself or get sent to grave to prevent your Link guys from being destroyed via card effect. Leonis gives piercing. He's actually the worst one, not gonna lie to you. Draco, he takes one from your graveyard and adds it to your hand. In Crusadia, he can pop back row. The main commonality amongst all of them, for those extra unfamiliar, is that they special summon themselves to a Link marker, which is important when you get to the Link monsters, but that's kind of the 101 of what exactly these monsters are. These next 6 cards are the cards that I personally would consider also staple in the strategy. It'd be triple Parallel Exceed and triple 4-Mud Skipper. The function is pretty simple. You can reveal an opposite name Crusadia Link in your graveyard, make him that, and then use him to make a Magnus, and then search this guy, who gives you a host of play extensions. Because the biggest thing with the deck is you just kind of need cards to just generate even more bodies on board to create better and better Link plays. The last kind of commonplace cards I personally played were 1 black and 1 white dragon. But to be really honest with you, you could easily just play him, because the vast majority of cards that you're likely to be running across in your deck are actually light monsters, and more often than not, he's actually live. So since I'm not playing the guard dragon stuff, I decided in my personal build to go with the kaiju version, which is more focused on the Link 3 Crusadia guy, which we'll get to later in the profile. But with that in mind, I played 4 different named ones, so that way my Slumber is live. And I played these 2 because they have the highest attack stat. This one because he has 3000 attack, and this one because if I open him and just kind of want to get rid of a card without dealing with a stupid high attack stat, he's the smallest one. I don't really got any regrets in my choices, so let's just go on. The other reason I played the kaijus is because they help answer people that want to do something this stupid, like play these 3 bricks. Yeah, I went this route. I'll explain it more later, but I did. For spells, I played 1 Reinforcement of the Army to search the water chick. Monster Reborn, because it's a fantastic extender. 1 World Legacy Guard Dragon. And 1 World Legacy Succession, because they're just 2 more copies of Monster Reborn. And for lore reasons, they are searchable with one of the bricks that you play. For Crusadia specific cards, I played 1 of the field spell and 2 of the quick play. Power here essentially is just a miscellaneous Aerosaurus for Crusadias. And Revival turns your Link guys into Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, essentially. Just lets them mow through a whole field and gives an additional 500 attack boost. I don't really like this card. It could easily just be a 3rd one of these or anything else, but that's neither here nor there, say, really. Found out the spells, I personally played 2 Interrupted Kaiju Slumbers. I didn't really feel a 3rd one was completely necessary. And this card, in all honesty, is still pretty insane, because the ability to wipe board and provide 2 bodies just lets you OTK is very nice. And for traps, all I ran was the 1 Crawler. It's searchable via one of your Link guys, and when you activate it, it becomes a monster, summons itself to a Link marker, and searches your World Legacy cards, because lore, I guess? I don't know. Right, now onto the extra deck. We're going to start with the cards you absolutely have to run, and everything else is kind of here or there. To start out, I play 2 copies of Crusadia Magius. When a monster is summoned to his Link marker, he's a reinforcement of the army for another Crusadia. Single most important Link, aside from the one at the end, and a fantastic card. 2 was more than enough, and I really didn't feel the need to run a 3rd. Play only 1 Regulex. This card is also real good, but he's kind of best to go first when you just need a play to gain advantage to get stuff. He searches the Crawler, as well as either your Miscellaneousaurus, quick play spells, or even the field spell. And he can kind of be a beater, but really he's just there for Link climbing. Into your main guy, your OTK enabler, Crusadia Aquamax, who just gains the attack of everything he points to, and then tends to just end the game outright. And the reason I play 2 of them is because he's a good card to go first into, because you could just tribute a Crusadia guy to then negate a card on field. I did not play Spatha because I'm not playing the Guard Dragons in this particular build. But if you are playing the Guard Dragons, you definitely want to play her. And I didn't personally play Aquamax because another card choice of mine I thought was a much better option. For more utilitarian purposes, I played 1 Link Kariba, which I actually did have to use for the off chance that they ever affect Veiler or Infinite Impermanence, your 4-mode skipper. Essentially just make him and keep going. Link Spider's only in here for if they ever Nibiru you. I did not make this once, but I figured he was about the best, or at least most practical for this deck. Link 2. I decided to try out 1 Unicorn for a similar process to Phoenix, and that for a generic card, he'll at least get rid of a card on field. And I played Access Code Talker instead of the Mech Knight guy because, well, I just personally find him to be an even better card overall. And the time I did make him, he very much helped close out a game super quick. Then I only play 2 XYZs, and that would be Dugares and Tornado Dragon. Literally, I just use him to boost up Equimax to then OTK even harder. So yeah, this card's fantastic. Another kind of semi-staple for the deck in my opinion, especially because the parallel exceeds make him super easy. And I just chose him because back row can't be an issue. And then I personally played one FA Dawn Dragster because the main tuner you'll summon out, you'll usually have her plus a level 4 monster most likely. And this guy's pretty good. But I never even came into a scenario to think about using him. Okay. So, what about these two? I played this today because, one, this card is absolutely and utterly insanely busted, and in most cases can completely deflate your opponent's desire to ever play this game at the low cost of playing 3 bricks in your deck. But even with that in mind, there were cases where I literally just played the Red Eyes Fusion, sat on this, and was like, fight me, bitch. And this guy literally facilitates that. Because, you know, send your Red Eyes Fusion, send the 2 from the graveyard, have this backed up with an Equimax that is also a negate, and that's about the best turn 1 play you can make in the more kaiju one-punch focused version if they're forcing you to go first. So throughout the course of this video you're probably wondering, well, what is this one-punch thing you talk about? Well, here's a scenario that's pretty decently common. Just gives you an idea of how this deck just wins its games. Start out, you need to go second. It's just kind of how it works. Because there's no FTK burn strategy in here. So let's just say you're going second. Let's just say you play your card like you're interrupted Kaiju Slumber. Happened a lot. Clear the field. Alright. Give yourself a big guy in the outermost corner. And right there where the link thing is, give them big Kaiju guy. Okay. Well, that's fair. Well, then what do you do from here? Well, let's get your guy. Either your 4-much skipper or just your Crusadia guy. In this instance, I'm going to just use this for an example. Alright, summon him. Make him a Crusadia guy. Link into this. Magius. Okay, well, that's cool. And then the 4-much skipper gives you a free parallel exceed. Alright, well, what now? Special summon a Crusadia guy. And then your Magius gets you a combo piece that you need. And you're like, well, that's cool. Okay, well, link away into Regulator. Alright, and guess what? You just link summoned. So use your parallel. And then depending on what you need most, you can either chain block your search or chain block your extra extender. So let's just say, got the extender, and I don't know, for the off chance they have something to screw it up, you could either search the trap because you're afraid you might mess this combo up, or you just search your miscellaneous Aerosaurus card. Doesn't really matter. Then you turn these guys into your Equimax, and then special your Maximus. Use your Maximus, make it where he can deal twice the damage. And note, his attack is 2,000 plus 16 plus 33 plus 33. Let's grab our handy dandy calculator and see what happens. 2,000 plus 33, clear 33, 0, 0, do that, plus 33, 0, 0. That's a lot. Oh wait, and that's 1600 on top of that. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. But hey, when you attack, you gotta take 3300 off. That's only... nice. But that's not game. Well, that's where Maximus comes into play. Because you double that stuff. Yeah, that's game. No matter which way. The numbers don't lie. They spell disaster for you. And let's just say that in this process, you know, you somehow don't OTK them. Because, I don't know, maybe they impermanence this instead. You're like, oh, they have a huge field. And I don't want to die. Well, you could simply just take these guys. Make your little plant boy. Use your little plant boy. Get rid of all the bricks. And then make Big Daddy Kane here. Who in and of himself can just also pop this. Get beefier, and then him and that can still just thwomp away. And you have a negate. So yeah. This deck has some pretty strong plays. Well folks, there you have it. My Guard Dragonless Crusadia build. There'll probably be other builds that I'll inevitably experiment with, especially if the ban list doesn't really hit the Guard Dragon stuff. Because then I'll most certainly be going back to that build to be doing whatever crazy shenanigans I can think of. If you like what you see, you got any suggestions to improve the deck, feel free to comment down below. That's what they're for. Remember to like, favorite, share, all that fun stuff. And yeah, this is Meh, Pig and Meh, signing out.